Hello, my name is Silja, and this is my first attempt of making a book video. I've been watching Booktube videos for a very long time now, and for the last 3 months, I guess, I have been playing with the idea of maybe making some videos myself. So here we are. As I said, my name is Silja, and I live in Norway. I do not live in the part of Norway where the midnight sun is, and I also don't live in the area with all the mountains and all the fjords. I live in the southeast, next to Oslo, and I think that's pretty good as well. I have always been an avid reader. I've been reading books since I was like 4 years old, and before that my parents used to read to me, and I continue reading to me after I learned to read by myself. So books have always been a big part of my life. I love to read, I love to buy books, I love to talk about books, and I love to write about books on my blog. But this is, however, the first time I'm trying to talk about books in English. So if you're watching this and are not Elizabeth, I'm sorry. Hopefully I will get better when I practice. So I thought that today I would talk about the book I'm currently reading, and that is House of Leaves by Mark C. Danilewski. And this book has been standing on my shelves for the last 5 years. And this month, Sophie from Portland the Pages are doing a read-along, and I'm participating. I'm so happy that I finally get to read this, because it's a really good experience. This book is very complex. It has a lot of layers. It starts off with, "This is not for you," and I was immediately dragged in, because when someone tells me that something is not for me, I will try it. It has its limits, of course, but according to books and movies and holidays and stuff like that, you can't tell me that this is not for you. I will try it, or at least look into it. This is, as I said, a book with many layers, very complex, and I'm not that far in. But I think the main story, or the core story, is the story about the house itself, about the family who moves into this house and experiencing that the house is much bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. It kind of reminds me of the TARDIS, but this book is not a Doctor Who episode. It's much more sinister and much more evil. This family, the father is a photographer. He has decided he wants to document everything. And when they suddenly experiencing that the house is growing, they find a new room in the bedroom, and they're finding a hallway in the living room. He is also documenting that, and also their adventures inside the new rooms, because it's not just a new room that appears, it's the rooms, the new rooms are twisting and turning and growing, and it's like a never-ending maze. And all these experiences are caught on tape, and they made a movie of it. And this book is a compiling of a document or a dissertation that a man called Sampano is writing on the movie of the phenomena. He is analyzing the movie and the relationships between all the characters within the family, and he also tries to explain what is going on with this house. And he's using a lot of source material. He has a lot of footnotes, and it seems like he's doing a very good job in investigating this story. When this book starts, he is dead, and in comes Johnny Truant. He's a young man with supposedly a troubled past, and he discovers Zampano's trunk full of this manuscript of written pages, and he tries to compile everything into its documents again, or to the dissertation. And while he's doing so, the more engrossed he gets in the story, he starts experiencing things himself, scary things, and he also putting that in the story. So he uses his own set of footnotes in this story to tell about the thing he is experiencing and telling about his story and his life. And then we have the editors, who are the ones who are putting this book together with all the documents and also all the appendixes that may or may not have something to do with the main story, but are helping the reader to understand the characters better. It's poems, it's letters, it's pictures, and many other things. So yeah, it seems at first and second glance as a very confusing read. You open it up and there's a lot of footnotes, and not only that, the footnotes has footnotes, and there are different kinds of fonts. There are some pages that are just filled with information written in different ways. You have to turn the pages around to read it, and there also are pages that are pretty blank. So it seems confusing, but I find that it's not, because I feel like Danilewski are helping the reader along the way. He is like in the fairy tales, he is throwing out breadcrumbs for you to follow, and he does that through the footnotes. So you have to pay very attention when you read it, and you have to follow the instructions. But when you do that, you'll see that the pages that are filled with lots of information, lots of different fonts, upside down, backwards, everything, it has its purpose. And it's like a puzzle, I think. I feel like I am a very active reader when I'm reading this, and I feel like as I am puzzling together this book, the Navidson's family are puzzling and trying to find out about the maze, and Zampano is trying to understand and to decipher the movie and understand what's going on, and Johnny Truant is puzzling together everything that Zampano has collected. So it's like all the characters and the reader they're all trying to solve a puzzle, and I think that's a very good and very interesting experience. This is a novel. It's not a true event or anything. But within the novel, Zampano is trying to write this documentary about this movie. So it gives that feeling that this is something real. But then we have the question about reliability, because early on, Johnny Truant discovers that many of the footnotes that Zampano is using to verify his sources are just made up. They are not true. And there are some hints that the movie maybe it never has existed. So what is this file then? Is it true? Is it a hoax? Is it the work of a madman? Or is it something completely else? You don't know. I don't know yet. And there's also the question about Truant himself, because he's not that reliable. He is making up stories. He is telling the same story in very different ways, and you feel like he's always holding things back, and he's giving you some information that may not be correct, and then he will say, "Oh, I lied. That's no big deal." This novel, I feel, playing with the format of a novel itself. As I said, it's very experimental. It acquires that the reader is very focused, that you like puzzles, I guess, and you have to concentrate, I think. As I showed you, it's a lot of different fonts, different types of text, and I think a lot of it is explaining, or not explaining, a lot of them are showing maybe emotional distress, are showing us how the house is growing, showing us how the characters are reacting to the house, or to the other experience, all the other things they are experiencing. Like, for example, in the letters from Truant's mother, she is mentally ill, and you can see through her letters that the more and more she descends into madness, her letters are also being more and more shattered. So you can see the breakdown. And I think that's also is very interesting, and it's intriguing, I think. So I thoroughly enjoy this experience. It has its parts where it can be very much like explaining things that may not necessarily have anything to do with the story. Maybe it's not driving the story forward, but I like it. I like all the talk about echoes and all the talk about like the mazes. So yes, 140 pages in, and I think this is very good, and I'm looking forward to read more in October. Goodbye. Or as we say in Norway, ha det!